Hey guys, Tim Melvin coming to you from down here in Central Florida. Nice 75-degree day down here, and I'm really enjoying it because sometime here in the next week or so, we're going to get the call that my daughter is on the way to the hospital with our first grandchild, and I'm going to have to go to Chicago. And Chicago in December, of course, is just always a delightful weather experience. Wife and I are going to be swapping back and forth, being up there helping them get settled. Then we're going to be Christmas week in the windy and frozen city of Chicago. So I am enjoying my Central Florida weather as November comes to a close because it looks like I'm going to be a lot colder in December. So anyway, end of November, it's Thanksgiving week. That is my favorite holiday of the year. You've got enormous amounts of great food. We've already started cooking here, if you can believe that. My wife's getting some of the sauces and the cranberry sauce, and we're getting the turkey brine ready and just all the fun stuff that goes with Thanksgiving. We did the grocery shopping, still got to make a liquor store run. I just love this holiday. Lots of food. The wine cabinet is just stuffed, overflowing. Pies, just football. Although I'm not that excited about football, we'll still have it on because it is Thanksgiving and it's kind of a tradition. So you've got the friends. We've got a whole bunch of people coming over. You've got family, just food, drink, and I don't have to buy one single gift for anybody. I love that. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. Once again, this year we're not traveling. We don't like to travel on the holidays. Never have. Nothing says gratitude like spending 6 hours on the New Jersey Turnpike or crammed into a silver metal tube with a couple hundred other just disgruntled folks heading off to see the family, most of which, if you're honest about it, you don't really like all that much and you're there out of a sense of obligation. So we do Thanksgiving at home, invite a bunch of people we actually like over, and have a grand old time. And I can't wait for Thursday to get here. So, PricewaterhouseCooper was out last week with their bank M&A report, and they noted that deal pace has slowed somewhat as we've moved into 2017. And most of that is uncertainty about tax reform and regulatory reform. Now, they're pushing regulatory relief, trying to get something done. Really want to see them move that SIFI, significant financial institution rules up, systemically important financial institutions to be official. Push that limit up to the $250 billion mark. Then you've got all kinds of these $50 billion banks, BB&T, M&T Bank, that will now be able to make some M&A deals and maybe bring some more activity back into the space. And again, the report does note that most of the action that's going on out there is in the smaller banks. That's where we live. We have no complaints about 2017 M&A activity. We've got about 6 weeks to go in the year. We've already had 11 deals. With one exception, they all resulted in triple-digit gains. So it's really hard for us to complain about the pace of M&A. I think next year, I don't know what's going to happen, with tax reform and how that will help in the bank M&A. I've read both proposals, the Senate and the House. Not a tremendous amount of difference between the two of them. Both of them are a corporate tax cut, which is a great thing. We need a corporate tax cut. Corporate taxes in the U.S. are generally too high compared to the rest of the world. But what they've done is they've put a corporate tax cut in and they've moved a whole bunch of the furniture around to change the way the room looks on the personal side. But they didn't really do anything. And I'm still struggling to figure out exactly who it is that pays lower taxes under that bill, because it looks like higher taxes across the board to me, with just very limited small windows there. But it's not really tax reform. It's a corporate tax cut with a whole bunch of decoration disguising. They should have just come out, sold it as a corporate tax cut with economic benefits generating additional revenue. And here's an idea. Maybe some cost cuts on the other side to try to make it as revenue neutral as possible. But that's not how we do things in the Congress of 2017. Lots of smoke and mirrors, corporate tax cut. They've gone after some sacred cows, limiting mortgage deductions, the state and local tax deduction. And some of that just looks to me like retribution against the states that voted for Hillary Clinton and that are more in Democratic control. But what do I know? So I don't know if that passes or not. So I don't know how much of a benefit to bank M&A or bank pricing that gives us as we go into 2018. Personally, this looks like a really tough sell to get all the way through Congress to me. We will continue to see regulatory relief, especially for the smaller banks. They're doing it, a lot of it at the executive level and a lot of it at the agency level. No need so far for a grand sweeping piece of legislation that they'll have a very hard time passing. But deal pace is going to stay at the 3%, or more 200 deal plus level for 2018. Hopefully, we'll be in there. We'll benefit. Maybe we'll get another 10 or 11 deals and have another solid year in our community bank stock portfolio. That's what I'm anticipating. Larger bank M&A, the currency is there. The stock prices have appreciated quite a bit since the 2016 election, 30% or more in many cases. So it gives them a good currency, but unless they're buying the really small banks where you could still get, a valuation discount, you're going to be paying up for your target. Tends to make you a little bit more careful about what you're buying. So we'll see. I'm confident on bank M&A in 2018. I'm confident that we'll have another solid year. We'll have a bunch of takeovers because we do tend to own the smallest of the community banks. We'll see how it all plays out. Broader market, it's still moving higher, up almost 2% last week, flirting right around all-time highs just about every day. We had seen a sell-off in the smaller cap stocks. That's kind of reversed and moved a little bit higher over the last month or so. So market, I hesitate to use the word healthy because valuations are extremely high. They're at levels that probably shouldn't persist for a very long period of time, but there is absolutely no catalyst or reason for them to go down. It's only geopolitical risks are dominant risk factors. We've talked about this. Not a lot of stupid lending, not a lot of leverage in the system, not a lot of excessive risk taking, as we've seen in prior major corrections. So there's no reason for stocks to go down. There's still a ton of money coming in, particularly on the passive and indexing side. Now, I think that none of that ends well, but I don't think it's going to end, this week. I think the market's just going to continue sort of trying to push its way higher. And we don't pay all that much attention to what the market does anyway, but it's worth noting that the only risks that we see are geopolitical. And if we see a sudden inflation spike, but I haven't talked to a soul who is anticipating a sudden spike in the official inflation numbers. It just doesn't look to be on the table for an extended period of time. So I did read last week the Reuters 2018 Global Investment Outlook Summit, and some fascinating stuff. The chief investment officer of UBS, one of the biggest firms in the world, he thinks markets will move higher all the way through 2018, not double-digit gains. He's only looking for single-digit gains, so we'll have to be satisfied with that, according to this fellow. Joel Greenblatt, he says these gains are unsustainable. Prices have to come down. Greenblatt's a smart guy, been around a long time, so you kind of listen when he talks. The head of the largest European money manager, a firm out of France, well, they said the Fed is on thin ice, and that as they move to raise rates in 2018, that should cause a substantial correction. Those are fantastic headlines. I'm sure they got lots of clicks. They're interesting to sit around and think about. The truth is, these guys may all have their opinions, but that's all they are, is opinions. Nobody knows what the stock market's going to do in 2018. Not me, not Greenblatt, not the man on the street, not the guy on TV. Nobody. Okay? We just don't know. If you look back to the beginning of 2017, did you think we'd be here? Nobody that I talked to did, especially after the initial rally. So we'll see how 2018 plays out. Our focus is going to remain on finding undervalued community banks with strong balance sheets, clean loan books that we can buy at a discount to tangible book value. And we're going to have a preference, as we always have, for those that have some sort of activist or bank stock specialists as co-investors in that particular bank. It's a formula that's worked extremely well for us, and we'll just keep riding the horse that's been winning the races for the last 4 or 5 years. So, okay, Thanksgiving week leads us to something else, and it's one of my pet peeves in life, and that's Black Friday. So Black Friday's coming up, and Black Friday now goes all the way into Thanksgiving afternoon with some of these stores opening, Thanksgiving afternoon, early evening. Everybody's going to rush out, and then Friday's just madness, and they've got doorbuster sales. And my big question every year is, what on earth are these retailers thinking? If you look at the numbers, okay, and by the way, the analysts are going to sit around and go, oh, Black Friday numbers, what are they? Are they bigger, are they lower? They don't matter, because it's just a bring forward of revenue from later in the month. All these folks that rush out on Black Friday, they were going to buy that stuff anyway. They're going out to save some money on it. And there are some sick individuals that actually enjoy Black Friday. Clearly, I'm not one of those. It's a dumb tradition, folks. And these stores that are open on Thanksgiving, I'm sorry, but we need to stay home because those are retail employees that have to leave their family gathering and go out and help you shop for a G.I. Joe, with Kung Fu Grip or the new latest, greatest 900-inch television set, and, you can save $100 on it or something. If we stayed home, the stores would stop opening. And these folks could stay home with their families and enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday just like the rest of us. And, Black Friday the next day, why would you want to be in that madhouse? This is one of the dumbest holiday traditions that has ever developed in the U.S. And I would encourage you all to stay home and just take advantage of Cyber Monday because you'll be able to get the same stuff a lot cheaper without, some old lady breaking her umbrella over your head because you reached for the last sale item that she was also looking for. So I'll stay home on Friday. I'll have a leftover turkey and stuffing sandwich. I'll do a little bit of work. I'll do a lot of reading, and I won't participate in any of that madness. And I hope you'll join me in that. And we all stay home. The retailers get the message, and we just go back to business as usual. And we can all enjoy Thanksgiving. So anyway, Hall of Fame ballots have gone out. We'll get to play out the great steroid debate again this year. Everybody will be talking about, how much do the numbers for Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, and Roger Clemens change. Looking at the first timers this year, the lock on there, of course, is Chipper Jones, the great Atlanta Braves third baseman. Fantastic career, great personality, fan favorite, and he consistently delivered throughout his career. So I expect to see him get in on the very first ballot. Quite an honor. He deserves it. Hopefully this is the year also that the pundits that have a ballot get their heads out of their rear ends and vote Mike Mussina into the Hall of Fame. He had a fantastic career with the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. He won 19 games several times, 18 games several times, pitched in some key playoff moments, finally won 20 near the end of his career, played on some World Series teams, played his entire career in the American League East, which is one of the toughest divisions to pitch in, put up great numbers, fantastic guy in addition to being a fantastic pitcher, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and I hope that this is the year that he gets in. So anyway, on the book front, some of those books that we've been reading, still working our way through the Grant biography, reading so much a day. 1,100 pages, it's a big book, and I tend to take my time. I don't read them biographies and nonfiction books as quickly as I do my recreational fiction. So I'm reading so much a day. I should be done with that here in a couple weeks. And in the interim, while we're doing that, we've also Mark Stone's excellent Coastal Justice series. The third book, and that was out. Really enjoyed that. It's got the strong characters, well-written plots, fun reads, set in Naples, Florida. Just a very enjoyable read. Dan Brown's Origins. He's a solid writer. He does a great job with the grand, kind of religious and otherwise based conspiracy theories. They're just sort of fun to read. So we cracked that one out. Then, of course, Midnight Line, the new Jack Reacher was out. My wife and I both love those books by Lee Child. So we added that one to the recreation pile, and I highly recommend it. We've got some new releases coming out over the next few weeks, and we'll be following up on those and working our way through the Grant biography, which, by the way, is excellent. Chernow always does a fantastic job, and this is a well-written book. I've learned a lot about Grant that I really did not know. So if you have any interest in that period of time or in Ulysses Grant himself, great read. I highly recommend the book. So anyway, Thanksgiving's coming. The markets look like they're going to open up today. So far, no takeovers. Hopefully, maybe we'll get one for Thanksgiving week. Wouldn't that be a nice little gift as we head into the Christmas season? But we did have one last week with Atlantic Coast Financial up in Jacksonville going out. And again, triple-digit winner for us. So we'll just keep plugging away, buying small banks, ignoring the markets, watching a lot of baseball, counting days till spring training, and reading a lot of really good books and watching the profits roll in. So anyway, guys, have a great Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you all sometime in the next week or two. If you notice, we've gotten a little less rigorous about the schedule and the videos, and I promise you with that grandbaby coming in December, it's going to be even less rigorous than it has been the last few weeks. But happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you sometime soon.